Jessica walked home with the sound of that whisper stuck in her head. The street felt colder than usual, even though the sun was still shining. Children laughed in the distance, but their voices sounded far away. She kept glancing over her shoulder, afraid someone was following her, yet the road was empty. When she reached her small one-room house, she locked the door and leaned against it. Her heart was still beating too fast. She took a deep breath and tried to convince herself it was just her mind playing tricks. Maybe she had inhaled too much incense at the church. Maybe the heat had made her dizzy. But the names, those names were real. And the knock from the coffin, she couldn't explain that away. She tried to eat, but the rice on her plate tasted like sand. She tried to rest, but every time she closed her eyes, she saw the coffin, and she heard her name again. By nightfall, she decided to step outside for fresh air. The moon hung low and bright, casting silver light on the dusty street. As she turned the corner, she froze. Emika, the first name she had heard, was sitting alone under a tree. "Emika, why are you out here so late?" she asked. He shrugged. "I couldn't sleep. I keep hearing someone calling me, saying my name over and over." Jessica's mouth went dry. "When did it start?" "This afternoon," he said. "Right after I came back from playing football." She wanted to tell him to go home, to lock the door, to pray, but the words stuck in her throat. If the voice could follow her home, what good would a locked door do? From somewhere behind them, the sound of a slow, dragging footstep echoed through the night. The dragging sound got closer. Jessica's first thought was that it was an old man walking, maybe drunk, but the rhythm was wrong. Step drag, step drag. She grabbed Emika's hand without thinking. "Come, let's go to your house," she whispered urgently. They walked quickly, but the sound followed them. When they reached his home, his mother was sitting outside peeling cassava. She frowned when she saw Jessica holding her son's hand. "What's going on?" she asked. Jessica forced a smile. "Nothing, Mama. Just walking him home." But Emika blurted out, "Mama, I keep hearing someone calling my name." His mother looked annoyed. "That's just your mind. You children watch too many ghost stories." She laughed, but it didn't sound convincing. Jessica left, but not before glancing back at the street. There was no one there, yet she could still hear that dragging step in her ears. That night, Jessica dreamt she was back at Papa Daniel's funeral. The coffin was open this time. She walked closer, her heart pounding, and saw that it was empty. Then, from inside the coffin, a hand shot out and grabbed her wrist. She woke up screaming, sweat running down her face. But the worst part wasn't the dream. The worst part was the faint knock she heard on her door. 3 slow knocks, and a whisper that seemed to seep through the wood. "Jessica, your turn is coming." The next morning, Jessica felt like her body had turned to stone. She hadn't slept after the knocking. Each time she closed her eyes, she heard the whisper. She tried to convince herself it was the wind or a neighbor, but her heart knew better. She decided she needed answers. The man who had hired her for Papa Daniel's funeral might know something. He was the one who had called her, given her the time and place, and paid her in advance. She remembered his name, Mr. Samuel. Jessica walked across town to the address he had given her when they first met. It was an old compound, the kind where the walls were cracked and weeds grew between the stones. She knocked, but no one answered. She was about to leave when the door creaked open by itself. The room inside smelled faintly of smoke. She stepped in and saw something that made her blood run cold. On the table, there was a book filled with names written in black ink. Some were crossed out, some were not. Her eyes scanned the list, and there it was. Mika's name, Blessing's name, Ifani's name, and then near the bottom, her own name, Jessica Obi. Before she could move, a voice spoke from the corner of the room. "You shouldn't have come here, Jessica,"